Who, in your opinion, is the most misunderstood tokusatsu writer? Inoue. Immediately Inoue.
Honestly.
Let me say it like this. Inoue is extremely misunderstood because of what he did later in his career, even though I don't think a lot of his flubs are nearly to the level as someone like who's the fucking guy who wrote Saber and Ghost, or
Mori.
Like Mori. I don't think he's near the level of Mori, or I don't think he's
Shimoyama
near Shimoyama. Fucking hell. Fukuda. Like, again, he's not nearly on those flubs are not nearly on the level as that. I think people only hate Inoue as much as they do, and they don't. And it's not dislike; it's hatred. Is because of he has done, admittedly, stupid ideas in his stuff before, and it's not usually stuff that's even on screen. Like if you look at Goraigan, if you look at Mikazuchi, if you look at Jetman and Kiva, a lot of those stuff, while they can have blue humor and stuff, they don't have stuff that he would put in the novels. Like, say, for example, the biggest one that everyone's always going to bring up, the rape of Mari from the Faiz novel, or Oja eating shit in the Ryuki novel. You know, like, it's stuff like that people hate him for. But I think that's really overshadowing what a great fucking... Like, when he's on his game, dude, he's on his fucking game. Like again, go back to Goraigan. Go back to Agito. Go back to Jetman. Go back to... I mean, shit, even Cutie Honey was still pretty good. I went back to rewatch that not too long ago. It's still pretty fun. Like, all of the stuff that he did, for the most part, if he's on his game, he is amazing. But I think this is kind of a problem that Chad was talking about the last mailbag, where I think just recency bias and people not actually going back to watch works of these people, they don't know what they're missing out on in that sense, and I think it's a fucking shame.
Yeah, like right now I'm watching Blade, and it's an older series. It's actually really well written so far.
And he's not even at the parts where everybody says is the good written parts.
I know, right?
Yeah. Like again, like just to reiterate, no, I definitely do think that like what a lot of people do experience nowadays is just definitely what's the newest, hottest thing that we can like really, really enjoy. And in this case, like obviously they're going to be the overrated titles such as Gaim. And yeah, this is coming from the guy that likes Gaim. It's overrated, but it's like it's not inaccurate. What else? Like, oh god, people actually did like Saber, and like that's only mainly because they've never really ventured out to watch like Kuga. They never watched Agito, Faiz, Blade. Frig, no one watches Hibiki. Damn it, no one watches Hibiki, and that makes me sad.
Only we did.
Only a few of us did. The proud few.
I still need to watch it.
Yeah, by the literally people I've talked to know me as like the guy that wants more Hibiki products. Yeah, so that's it's pretty telling.
And Hibiki's got some cool stuff. Like I love the concept of a guitar that's also an axe and a trumpet that's a weapon. I love that stuff. It's goofy. I love it.
Look, I'll be the first one to admit, right, that when shit goes wrong in Hibiki, and you can tell when it does, it goes bad. But even I can say, I would love more Hibiki. But again, this goes back to the idea. It's like, too many people are too easy to sway by being told just a couple of things about a writer saying, honestly, dude, if I did the same shit, like, let's say, for example, let's say I take fucking... O's, right? What's her name?
Yasuko Kobayashi.
Kobayashi.
Damn it!
There
I
you
knew
go.
it was.
I remembered that. Okay, it's like saying I take Kobayashi's writing and I say, oh well, Kobayashi's such a bad writer because I take some arbitrary bullshit that she's not even really that well known for, and using that on Twitter, and people just kind of go with it. That's what happened to Inoue, and now look where we are. People got really mad that he was the main writer of fucking Dawn Brothers.
I'll be honest, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is, again, even years ago when we were closer to Hibiki and Kiva, I think a lot of it was just because Kiva was just that bad, and what happened with Hibiki after he took over was just that kind of bad to the people who had liked Hibiki up to that point. Again, admittedly, I haven't seen Hibiki, so I can't exactly comment on the quality drop, but from experience...
Well, to be fair, and we'll talk about it when we get to Hibiki, but just really quick here, it kind of shows the difference between something like Blade, where everybody was on board trying to make the wheels work after that fix, and Hibiki was just, oh, get the fuck out of here, just do it, I don't care, just hire somebody else, I don't give a fuck. Like, that was the attitude behind the scenes with Hibiki, where Blade was just like, all right, we really need to get this working, if not, we're fucked.
Yes.
Yeah, but and that was kind of the point I was getting, is that a lot of with Hibiki isn't necessarily Inoue's fault, and Kiva is more so his fault. But
Yeah,
my point was more that even back when those shows were more recent and people had actually watched them, I think it was just those shows were so noticeably different in terms of quality, and there was such a significant drop from where he was with Faiz and Agito and most of Ryuki, and I know he wasn't the head writer, but he did like half of that show.
Yeah.
And everything he had done before that point, it was just like, oh, that kind of colored the perception of him. And then a lot of his more standalone stuff, smaller budget stuff, not big franchise stuff, where he got more insane. People that started coloring his perception of, oh, he's just like a crazy man, and nobody really gave his work any credit, and that kind of has carried over the years. And nowadays, that these older shows that he did are starting to be more accessible now that they have subs. People are actually watching them. He's started to get a better reception, outside of the main sphere of the fan base, which is to say Twitter, who don't watch anything at all. I don't even think they're watching the current shows, to be perfectly honest, based on what I usually see them talk about. So I think a lot of it is just generally like people, again, like we've been saying, people had a preconceived notion of who he was, even back then when the fan base was much smaller. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of it is just that kind of overall stigma has still been attached to him, and I think that's where a lot of the issue has lied. Because, I mean, hey, when I was still brand new into the fan base, I had heard about Inoue, and I had seen, I don't remember what show the first experience I had with him was. I think it was the O's Double movie that he did, which was fucking terrible. And I was like, oh, he sucks. I'm never going to watch anything he wrote ever again. And then, as I started getting more into it, and as I started kind of venturing off on my own, watching his own stuff, and as we've been doing more of his shows for this show, I'm like, oh wait, he's actually really good. I've been kind of given a bad starting point, I guess. So I think that's also it as well, is that a lot of people get more exposed to him because of his more recognizable works or his more recent stuff, which admittedly isn't as good, but there's that also preconceived notion of people usually say, oh, he's bad. Let me look at this new thing. Oh, it wasn't very good, so I guess they were right, and they just don't care. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, who else would you guys would want? Because we talked about Inoue, but do you guys have anybody else who want to throw up there for misunderstood type of writers?
In terms of writers, no. I mean, everybody else is pretty well understood. I mean, what's his face? Why am I blanking on everybody's names today? It's Takahashi. Takahashi, I think, is kind of the opposite, although to a much smaller degree, where I think people, again, kind of remember X-Aid being X-Aid the first time through and not on a rewatch, and they still kind of prop him up because of that. And, 0-1, again, same thing with Hibiki, wasn't entirely his fault, but I think a lot of it, again, is just like, oh, well, people say he was great because of this one thing, so obviously he's great. So
honestly, Takahashi, it's weird. Takahashi is what people used to say Inoue was. He had one good show and he wrote that for the rest of his career.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Inoue has definitely rode Jetman his entire career. But
sure, but when you don't write Agito by
motherfucking
accident.
Chojin Sentai Jetman, you're allowed to do that.
Look, I'll say it like this. You don't write Agito by accident. But, again, I think, in terms of misunderstood, Inoue is number one. I don't think anybody can argue with that.
Nope.